zero regret. That's what I want to share with you today. How my goal moving forward in 2025 is to look back with zero regret, especially when I think about YouTube and the opportunity that's ahead of me. And I just want to say hi to those folks watching on the side camera. Of course, that's a little bit ridiculous, but maybe YouTube is a little bit ridiculous. Like maybe the things we put ourselves through is a little bit ridiculous. And again, my goal is no regrets. And I know if I really leverage what I have, my ability, my skill, my desire, and I'm able to kick down the door of opportunity, pushing past the fear that I often have, the worry, like trying to make it perfect. Like literally, I didn't have time to shave. It's Thanksgiving, and if you're celebrating in the States, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Thanksgiving, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa. For those of you across the world, wherever, let me just, wish you a great day. And I'm feeling pretty good today. Last 2 days have been a little off, but what I know for me personally, I have what it takes to make it on YouTube. But the only way I'm going to get there is to publish a video. And it can be so overwhelming. I remember when I started back in the day, it was just so much, and I spent so much time trying to perfect things. And honestly, people talk about perfection is really the enemy of growth. And absolutely, there's a line in the sand where once we cross it, it stops us from moving forward. But for me personally, I know that always striving to improve and most importantly, being curious, like what would happen? And that's where I get really excited for you. Because if you're watching this right now, you're still watching. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm Brian. I've been an online entrepreneur. Gosh, I'm so grateful when I think about this stuff. For 22 years. 22 years ago, I quit my job as a professional chef, and I decided I was going to go all in with online marketing. There was no Facebook or Snapchat. There was no Instagram. Back then, you built websites. But I just kept evolving, and I kept staying curious. And I wrote some books about marketing. I wrote books about YouTube. And I started this channel some 8 years ago. And at the time, I didn't know anything. I started my channel on a smartphone, and a lot of the videos I created back in the day, they did really, really well, because what's most important is the idea behind a video. People don't really care about whether it was shot on a Sony or a Canon on a pocket camera. People don't care. They care about the story that's unfolding. In fact, they'll give way to bad audio as long as it's just barely good enough. The same thing can be said for audio, video, editing, and more. And I wanted to make this video today because a year from now, it's going to be Thanksgiving for me today. I mean, in a year. And I want to look back and I want to go, you did a really great job. And fact of the matter is, the last 12 months for me, I've done a really good job. I started where I was at. I used what I had. I took steps forward. I made videos. And a lot of them didn't do that great. But I stayed in the game. And I fell in love with the process of creating. I've always loved creating. And anybody can do that. Even you. Like if you're watching right now and you're thinking, but, I'm older, I'm younger, I'm too good looking, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm Asian. Like, I get it. We all have these hang-ups in our head. I know I do big time. But eventually, you either kick down that door that's stopping you or you don't. You push past it or you don't. And I know it can be so very overwhelming getting started. And I am so filled with hesitation so often as well. Hesitant about making thumbnails for the longest time. Like how many people here have seen those thumbnails that I used back in the day, the same images again and again? And fact of the matter is, I think they were really fantastic, great images. They should be. I paid a professional photographer when I started my YouTube journey because I didn't have any skills. with photos, with cameras, with lighting, with camera settings, but I knew what I needed and I just found a way. It was a great use of $400 or $500 to have images I could use again and again. I'm wondering, what can you do to break down that barrier that's between you and the dreams that you want to get closer to? You know, and I struggle a little bit as I share this because I don't want to tell you how to do anything. Fact of the matter, I want to do my best to share my experience because I just think we're all kids on this planet trying to figure it out until we're dead. You know, nobody has it figured out. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's got some hang up. And I'm compassionate or empathetic to you and what you're going through. And again, I just want to encourage you because on the other side of that fear is something that is so rewarding for me personally. I've written books, I've built websites, I've built email lists, I've launched products. There's something special for me. I don't know about you, but for me, creating videos is really magical. Like there is magic that happens when we decide to make it so. You know, along the way, as long as you have a few core concepts in place, I guarantee you'll kick butt. You will go far. It doesn't have to be complicated, but we just have to get the ball rolling. So early on, the very best thing that I did when I started was I just started making videos. In fact, one of the reasons I used a phone was so I could say I used a phone. Like I had plenty of money to go out and buy a camera. I had the time, and again, you might think, well, you had the time and the camera and the expertise. Well, sort of, not really on YouTube, but I had the motivation and the desire. And I think that's what's important, you know? So I started with this, I got a few cheap lights, and I set a date. For me personally, I think that's super helpful to set a date as to when it begins. And if you're wondering, you know, how am I going to move forward? What is it going to look like? Just decide you're going to get started making videos on this date. You're going to have a video published by this date. You're going to publish at least 2 videos a week or 1. It doesn't matter, but start, I beg you, because it's so fun to watch people. The other thing I want to share is, check this out. Everybody that you think and look up to was exactly in the spot you're in right now. In terms of they published many videos until they got where they wanted to go. The vast majority of creators on this platform publish videos for years until they blow up overnight. It's just kind of how it is. But by getting started and keeping it simple, have a few lights, film in front of a window, do what you can to make the process simple on yourself, and then expand slowly. You know, anytime I come back and I haven't made a video in, let's say, a month or something, I'm gonna be a little bit rusty. It goes away real fast. But once you get over that, you'll find it's actually, once you get in the momentum of creating videos, the mind games we play on ourselves, they really do go away over a period of time. Because we get comfortable, sort of, with being on camera. It's always still kind of like, there's some nerves for me. It's always been like that. Today I feel great. The other day I couldn't film at all, and I didn't. No big deal. Like, as long as I'm regularly uploading videos, that's all that matters. So if you feel overwhelmed, forget a schedule, forget when you publish videos, forget thumbnails, forget everything except pressing record and then uploading. And then do that again. And what I would recommend is, if you're really excited about YouTube, is to measure best you can in seasons. Instead of getting attached to each individual video, which I know I do, every single video I have high hopes. Every single one. But I also know as I get back up off the ground, when I get a 10 out of 10, I dust myself off and I move on, and I'm thinking about the next one very fast. You know, and moving forward and just getting that ball rolling, and then thinking, well, how do I want to spend my time? What do I want to learn and improve that will help me really create something that will be pleasing for my viewers? And a big word I like to think about all the time is easy. The entire viewer journey in finding your video, seeing it on YouTube, clicking on the video thumbnail, watching the video, And then returning back to your channel should be easy for the viewer. And there are literally 100 little things that you can do to make it easy. For example, if you really don't have skills with making thumbnails, well, either did I, but I found a way. When I started, much like Casey Neistat, he talked about creating titles based on writing things on boards and then holding it up because he didn't know how to do it in editing software. And for me, it's similar in that when I got started, I was really bad at graphic design and Photoshop. I got an app for my phone. I use it primarily on my iPad that I'm looking at right now, monitoring myself. Looks pretty good. And one of the thumbnail designs I came up with was so simple because I didn't have the skills, and yet it was really effective. It was a big, huge red thumbnail, and in the center were 2 or 3 words like "stop uploading." And when you took that kind of thumbnail message, by the way, the message is far more important than the aesthetic beauty of your thumbnail. If you take the title, "How to Grow on YouTube," and then you pair it with the message, "stop uploading," people are like, "What?" And they have to click. That's the power of being compelling and leveraging messaging in your thumbnails. And you know what I'm going to say if you're a viewer. Check out my last video, which, by the way, 1 of 10, amazing. Thank you so much. And pretty cool, right? Like, 1 of 10 drove 2,000 views in the first day, or 1,900 or something like that. And slowly I can see my stats improving just like when I started. And along the way I grew my channel is exactly what I'm doing now. I'm just starting from where I'm at, and I'm slowly integrating and improving. And I bet you could do the same thing with video editing or making thumbnails or learning about lighting or learning how to create a nice looking frame. Like, I love the symmetry of this particular angle. It took me 2 years, actually 3 years, to find this angle in my studio. Video is challenging. I don't have a background in cinematography and being a news anchor or someone who's in front of a camera delivering a message and being compelling and being comfortable on camera and understanding graphic design. But what I did have, however, was an understanding of keyword phrases and what motivates and compels an audience to click and engage, and creating titles and kind of sales copy message that would draw people in, and how to share. And that gave me a little bit of a help getting started. But here's what I want you to know. You might think, I don't have any experience in anything, I suck, it won't work. But I promise you, you do. You cannot get away from it. If I say, branding is how you speak and communicate and your style, and you say, well, I don't have any style, having no style is your style. And there is something inherently interesting about you and how you think about subjects that people search for here on YouTube, that viewers want to engage themselves with because they're passionate about YouTube or cooking or baking or learning a skill or gardening, or they love the idea of being a YouTube filmmaker where you create, you get your phone and your camera and your other camera and your friends and you go create little movies. Man, that's really exciting and fun. Or maybe you do that, with your significant other while you travel. Now you've got these incredible pieces of history encapsulated in a video that your friends can watch, that you can reflect on, and you can furthermore share with the world and make life-changing money along the way. For me personally, YouTube has changed my life. I can also tell you that mentally, I had to get to a good place, good enough, because I'm still like, man, we're all messed up at this age. That's what I think. I think most people have, there's trauma, there's experiences they've been through, and it kind of shapes who we are as adults. And when I was going through my divorce, I needed a few years just to regain a sense of who I am. And now I have that. I date, I'm grateful for the women I've dated and been with. It's been amazing. I'm still looking for that one, and that's okay. I'm grateful today to be spending time with somebody on Thanksgiving and more. And I know that once my mental health got to a place where it was a bit more stable, it was just a little bit easier for me to move forward and create videos at a bit of a higher level. Here's a secret nobody wants to share. Yes, YouTube easy mode is a thing. Yes, you can create videos in an hour quickly and so on, as long as you get down the most important things and you do them well. Like a YouTube title is critically important. You can make the same kind of video and yet have two very different titles, and one is always going to get a lot more views. Oftentimes it can be 5-10 times more views because the algorithm is going to really study that video title that you create when you upload your video. And as viewers come on the platform, the algorithm is looking for videos to serve to that viewer. And if you understand some core concepts that I share, like find a topic that's been doing well for a number of other creators and then create your version of that video. So YouTube Easy Mode is a great example. Oh, and another one, I uploaded 800 so videos and discovered this. That was another format, topic style, video style that a number of YouTubers created, and yet a lot of my peers that are at the highest level of YouTube growth hadn't. I published that video and I got like 40 subscribers. It was pretty easy for me because I've made enough videos where I could sit in front of the camera. I came up with a pretty good title, pretty okay thumbnail. It wasn't revolutionary. The video was done start to finish in 2, maybe 3 hours maximum, and I was done. And you can do that 2 times a week. If you want YouTube badly enough, like I do, and this is just me, this is me sharing my ideas with myself to keep me on track. Because let me circle back. You see, when I get to Thanksgiving 2025, I want 0 regrets when it comes to YouTube. And I've got a great head start because I've been grinding away. I've been uploading. And I want you too to have 0 regrets. So as we move forward towards 2025, one of the things I want to end on is you really connecting with that this is a lifestyle, not a hack that I can apply on a weekend to get the results of other creators that I envy that have uploaded hundreds of videos to get that result. You cannot find a loophole out of that. You can't. It's impossible. Everybody on this platform that has any measurable result spends considerable time making videos. You cannot avoid that. The more people strive to avoid it, looking for a shortcut, the more likely they're going to just spin their wheels on information and strategies that are hollow, fake, misguiding, and misleading. And that's a bummer versus just buckling down and saying, I need to learn how to come up with a good backdrop. Oh, it's so hot, and you're going to go through this struggle and it sucks. I swear all the time. But I keep making videos, and for that, on this Thanksgiving Day, I'm really grateful. Do this. I've mentioned thumbnails and titles, and this video on the screen, it is a powerful video. And I want to let you know, yes, you too can do it. It doesn't matter. I promise you, if you can take a step forward and kick down that door that's stopping you, you can make it happen. I'll see you there on that video. You dig?